Are we live? I think we are. Hello, hello. I know it takes a few minutes to connect sometimes. Nobody's in here yet, but for future watchers, hello. Welcome to my channel. How's your week going? How's your weekend going? Let's just have a little chit chat. Put my microphone on so people can hear me better. This microphone works good, but it weighs my shirt down. I wonder if I can put it right on the collar. See if that'll help. I don't know. That will have to work. That's a little bit better, I guess. Let's see. Is anybody going to join? Everybody might be busy. It is Saturday afternoon. It is 2:44 here in Texas where I am. People are maybe out and about doing their Christmas shopping and Christmas preparations. I made me a cup of hot coffee, but I took so long getting everything set up that it's not very hot anymore. Still delicious though. Let's see. Hello. We have one person in the chat now. Whoever you are, welcome. Where are you from? Can you hear me? Wait on a few more people, and I just figured we'd chat about our week. See how your weekend's going? Tell me something positive that happened to you this week. If you hear banging, that is my son. I have no idea what he's doing, but he's playing in his room. He's banging on the floor. Hello, everybody. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hi, puppy lover. I'm sorry you're sick. I'll be praying for you. I hope you get to feeling better real soon. You can hear me? Thank you for letting me know. Welcome in, everybody. Let's chat about our week. Hey, Danielle, I've been wondering about you. Been wondering if you're safe from those bugs that you showed me. Hey, Cammie. I just wanted to hop on and everybody tell me how your week went. Tell me something positive that happened this week. I've just been trying to get ready for Christmas. If it's not going to be too noisy, I'm going to put together some Christmas stuff for my grandkids. Your week's been really good? I'm glad, puppy. Except that you being sick. I'm glad you had a good week, though. I am making a mess over here. Your mentor got you a bunch of new stuff you weren't expecting. Oh, Cammie, what a blessing. How sweet. It's always nice when you're not expecting something and then you get blessed. Hi, Kevin. How are you? I'm doing great today. I've had a great week. Tell me something positive that happened in your week. Hi, Ivy. Where's everybody from? They're harmless. I'll take your word on that. I trust you. I'm trying to put together some stuff for my grandson, for my grandsons, the 3 older brothers, to put in a bag. You're making cookies and you're from Nashville. Ooh, that sounds good. I bet your house smells good. What kind of cookies are you making? So for my older grandsons, the 3 that are brothers, I'm making them 3 bags that are pretty much identical. One of the things I'm going to put in there, they're going to stay for almost 2 weeks at an Airbnb here in town. And the Airbnb doesn't have toys or anything, so I'm trying to put some stuff together that they can play with while they're here and then also take home. Hi, Poppy. Cammie, you had a snow day yesterday and spent it having hot cocoa. That sounds really, really fun. Speaking of hot cocoa, let me show you what Jackson bought at the store yesterday with his dad. You know us and our peppermint. Jackson loves peppermint hot cocoa. And if you saw the video of him and Ava making hot cocoa, they had to use the hammer and crunch up the candy canes. Well, when Jackie and Jackson went shopping yesterday, he found this at Home Goods. It says peppermint dust, and it's a whole jar of like crunched up candy canes. Isn't that adorable? And whoever came up with this idea is genius, because this is probably all the broken candy canes from the factory. Poppy, you don't have any snow? That is awesome, isn't it? Oh, my daughter's texting me. She should come on my live and then she would know what I'm doing. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to put in the grandson's bag, I'm going to give them each a thing of Play-Doh, and I have some Christmas cookie cutters. So I'm going to tie a ribbon around these so they don't pull out a cookie cutter and be like, okay, what is this for? Do I know Stray Kids? No, I don't. Tell me about it. Danielle is from the capital city of New Zealand, Wellington. 1-hour flight or a 3-hour ferry with 8-hour driving away. And how's the weather, Danielle? It's summer there now, right? Oh, that's how far you are from Christchurch. Is it summer there now when it's winter here? A K-pop group. Okay, that makes sense. I know. I don't really keep up with K-pop, but my granddaughter certainly does. I'll have to ask her about them. Stray Kids. I'm going to remember that name. See if I have some scissors here. Do we all do advent calendars? That's a good question, Cammie. I've been enjoying your bluey one. Jackson is, we don't all do one, but Jackson always has one. He is doing a, like a Lego one. It's not actually made by Lego, but it's the same thing. It's a Christmas, it makes a Christmas village. Hold on one second and I'll show you. I'll take you in there. It's kind of dark over in that corner, but I'll show you what he has. I'm trying to tie this cookie cutter on here, but it's just going to slide off, so that idea might not work. Is anyone else doing an advent calendar? A Squishmallow advent calendar? Oh my gosh, I bet that is so, so cute. Let's see, did Jackson do a Squishmallow last year? He did. He did. It came with a little, I call them pocket-sized, the little mini Squishmallows. Hello, Joey Cooper. How are you? We're just kind of saying something good that happened to us this week, and we're talking about advent calendars and having fun with those. A gem one with like rock gems. Jackson would like those too. There's a lot of advent calendars Jackson would like. Hey Melissa, how are you? Do I play VR? No, I don't. I've tried it a few times and it gives me a massive headache. I'm just an old soul. I've never really been a gamer. Okay, when I was a kid, I grew up, I'm 51. So when I was a kid growing up, we were one of the first families that I knew that had a computer. My dad worked in a computer lab, and when they upgraded their computers, they sold off the old ones, and the employers could buy them cheaply. So we were one of the very first families. We had the old Apple IIe with the green and black screen, and I played Oregon Trails and I played Top Attack, and those were like the two best games ever to me. And I have never really played any other games at all until Animal Crossing came out, and I played it on the Switch with my son, and I haven't even played it in a long time. Once I had the game almost complete, I stopped playing it. Yes, back to the VR. Sorry, I lose my train of thought easy. I get sidetracked. I'm like a squirrel. Um, your mom had a computer in her office. Infinity pump for tube feeding. Okay. What game do you play on the VR, Poppy? I'm trying to think. You know what I tried? I think it was a job simulator. I think somebody gave Jackson a VR for his birthday, probably when he turned, I think, 8 or 9. And it gives him a really bad headache too. You do actually feel like you're in that reality, don't you? It's kind of a, I don't know, I feel like it's what a mind trip would feel like. You know, I've never done any like hardcore drugs or anything, but I could kind of feel like it's like you're in a whole nother reality or something. I'm not. I can ignore those comments. Cammie, do you want to, I can't even, my mind is so blank right now. Let me see. Cammie, do you want to moderate for me? Are you going to be here for a minute? Or does anybody here want to moderate for me today? Anybody that talks about anything weird, just take them out of the chat. Okay. There we go. Well, okay, so that's a bust. I'm not going to be able to do that. I also got the kids each a Christmas coloring book. Of course, I got them each their walkie-talkies, and I think, you know, that's their main gift, and I think they're going to have a lot of fun with that. But I am trying to find things to put in their gift bag that will also, like, keep them busy in an Airbnb. We'll go and do a lot of activities. They'll come here and play most days. We can go to the Airbnb and hang out with them most days. I still have our annual pass to the Science Center, so we will go there. Although every time we go there, we get sick within a few days. It really makes me nervous to take all the kids in there, but I'm sure we'll go one day when the weather is, you know, not nice enough to be at the park or something. And also, we usually go to the trampoline place once. Danielle says she makes her own advent calendar. She buys a bunch of small bags, wraps them in Christmas wrapping, buy a bunch of favorite flavor mini chocolates, and add 2 to 3 in each bag. That's the way to do it, Danielle. What is your favorite chocolate? See, that's perfect. Then you like what you get every single day. I've seen people make homemade advent calendars. I've seen people make some with boxes, like little drawers that you can reuse year after year. And I see some people make one with like plastic disposable cups and make like a tree shape and put stuff in there and cover it with tissue paper. And then you can just like poke through one each day. Thank you, Danielle. The more moderators, the better. I had not been going live on weekends because that's when we get all the weird people in here. But I just didn't have time this week. The one day I had time, I was so tired. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Hello, Small Town Riot. Okay, so I have them each there. Y'all, I'm a scatterbrain. It's so much worse now that it's December. There's so many things in my mind at once. Back to the grandsons. You know, they're getting their walkie-talkies. They're each getting a thing of Play-Doh and a Christmas cookie cutter. They're each getting a Christmas coloring book along with a pack of scented crayons. I can't believe the Dollar Tree had scented crayons. How cool is that? I'm in Texas, Poppy. Where are you from? They're each getting a blind bag of some little character. Let's see. They're each getting one of these in a different color. Yeah, Cammie, I've seen that. They do one with Jessica. I think this is their second year to do one. You love a brand of chocolate called Whitaker's. I have heard of Whitaker's chocolate and the Lint Lindor. I've heard of both of those. I don't know if I've ever tried one. Have you guys seen the funny TikTok reels where they cut one of these, they make a hole and they let the air out and then they pull it down really tight over their head? Have you seen those? They are so hilarious, so funny. And then every time they move their head, it looks like their hair's doing this. I watched one just yesterday and a guy put one on and it looked so funny on him. It fit his head perfect and it covered all of his hair and it looked so funny. And he went all over the busy city, and everywhere he went, he was like shaking his head just a little bit, like he had like some kind of tremors or something. And it was making these little things shake the whole time, and everybody was like staring at him. It was so funny. Every time you try to read comments, your phone tries to swipe away from the live. That's what mine was doing the last time Cat and Kiwi went live. Every time I would swipe, it would send me up to the next live, and then I would have to swipe back down to get back in. It's summer. Today's overcast and windy, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. 68 degrees is a nice temperature. Ew, those stink. Those smell awful. When you try to read the comments, try not to swipe quite as far down on your phone or try to swipe really slowly. I don't know. I can't figure that out. Today is the warmest day that we've had in probably 3 weeks, and I think it's probably maybe like 54 outside, but the sun is actually out and there's actually not a lot of wind. Here, it's the wind that makes it so cold. Even when, like, we have a lot of days that are between like 35 and 45 here, which would be fine. You would think you could put a jacket on and go outside and it would be fine, but the wind is so cold, it makes it feel in the negatives a lot of times. It's strong and it's right out of the north. Like it just cuts right through your clothes and everything. So Jackson and I have only been on a walk. He's been on one walk this week and I've been on 2, and that's it. And I miss it so, so bad. We just, we can't walk in the morning. By the time we could walk, it's 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and it just doesn't fit into our schedule. Yes, Danielle, we do get snow here. When I was a kid, we got a lot of snow. We had several times that school would call out for a day or 2 because we would have a blizzard and it would stick around for days. So when I was a kid, we got, I would say like 2 to 4 feet. And of course the snow drifts because we have wind. Like we lived out in the country then, and like it would drift up to where we couldn't even open our barn doors, or it would drift up to where we couldn't open our garage door. Nowadays, the weather is warmer here, but we still get snow. I would say we get probably between 3 and 5 snows a year that we can actually go outside and make a little snowman or have a little snowball fight. But usually within a day or 2, it's completely melted into muddy slush. Is Jackson always going to do homeschool? Yes, unless he ever chooses otherwise, but he won't. I can tell you that right now. If you even mention him going to public school, if you even mention him going to a private class that you would think would be fun, like a Lego class or a science class or something, it brings back a very horrific trauma response. Like it's an instant, and it can last for days. Even if you're not mentioning it to him, if he even perceives that you're mentioning it or thinking about it. We have done 2 classes together since he started homeschooling, where I made special arrangements to where I could attend with him, like his personal aide. And he did okay at one of those classes. We had a really good time. It was at the zoo, and we got to actually make food for the parrots and feed the parrots and go around kind of behind the scenes. Our zoo is tiny, teeny, teeny, tiny. Like we don't have a big zoo. It's mostly farm animals, and it's a lot of rescued animals, but that was fun. And then we tried an art class, and that did not go over well. We tried it for 2 weeks, I think, and it was a disaster both times. You had a horrible elementary school experience, but high school was better. You know, I think high school is easier anyway because you're with different kids. You can trade kids. You're not with the same kids all day long. You can trade kids, and you're with different teachers. You're not with the same teacher all day long. You know, you might get a teacher that doesn't understand you or doesn't necessarily like you, or, you know, that you just don't get along great with. And in high school, I feel like you somewhat get to pick the classes you like. And you know, college is even better because, well, Cammie, you know, you went to college. College is a completely different ballgame. I think even kids that need to homeschool for elementary, junior high, and high school, I think they can do okay in college. How you did your state study. We're finished with the state study, Danielle. We are finished with it, and I have packed most of it away so we can do it again soon. We have looked at several different countries. We haven't done like a big study on it like that. I've asked Jackson about it, but we are studying several different countries, and we are definitely into that. And I think I've seen on Amazon you can buy a package of country flags. And instead of doing a complete country study, I think I would like to study the flags. But if there's anything you would like us to know about New Zealand, if you would like to teach us about New Zealand, you can always send me information and we'll definitely go over it. Jackson's very interested in learning about other places. In fact, we forgot to do one of our Christmas cards today. We've studied a little bit about New Zealand. We've studied all about the kiwi birds, and we had studied about some different little sanctuaries and things there. But yeah, we checked out a couple of books from the library about New Zealand. Cammie, you didn't know you were autistic back then, but your language teachers picked up you were neurodivergent before you were diagnosed. Yeah, I had no clue I was autistic all the way through school years, but I didn't really know what autism was. I knew what profound autism was a little bit to a small extent, but I didn't have a clue. I knew I was different. I knew life was so easy for everybody else, and it wasn't easy at all for me to fit in or to act natural. But you know, being natural shouldn't be an act, but I didn't understand that. Danielle, that would be great. We'll definitely go over it. Absolutely. Especially anything about animals or anything really, history. You see kind of how Jackson learns. It can't be a whole bunch of reading and text at once. It has to be like small chunks of information. But we would love to learn more about New Zealand. When Kat and Kiwi ever get to go over there, Kiwi's going to bring Jackson back a little stuffed kiwi bird. He really, really wants one, but he wants one that's actually from New Zealand and not one that I could order from Amazon or something. I have a question. I need to respond to Jackson's friend that just texted. Is it going to mess up my live if I swipe out of here for a minute? Does anybody know? I don't want to swipe out if it's going to end our live, but I need to copy and paste the Zoom chat code to him. Code? I can't even think today. They can just wait. They have time. Welcome back, Poppy. See if I can fix this how I had it. I don't even know. Something like that. Is everybody enjoying when you log into your live, it automatically makes you moderator? Oh, that's good, Danielle. I forget about that, and I forget about who I've added and who I haven't. I'm sorry Nanette can't be here today. She always likes to have a chit chat. I know she gets lonely at home, but her phone is messed up and it won't hold a charge, so she has to keep it on a charger in her kitchen, so she's not on it as much. Is everybody or anybody enjoying the Vlogmas and Shorts? Yes, Poppy, my moderators are real people that I actually know, somewhat know. Okay, Cammie, if she messages again, I'll click on it, but if not, they can wait. Jackson and his friend have only gotten to chat together and game together for about an hour this week, so they know that they have all day today to do that. She gets on when he gets on, so they know each other are on their electronic time now, so they're waiting to chat. I feel like I was going to tell you guys something and I can't remember now. Poppy, you're not being rude at all. No, I don't take offense to anything you ask. You know, there's an old saying that the only bad question is a question you don't ask, or something like that. Meaning you should ask anything. If people don't want to answer it, they don't have to, but if you're curious about something, always ask. It is 3:09 in the afternoon. Yeah, Cami, I would definitely only use moderators that I know. Okay, Poppy, thanks for popping in and joining us. See you next time. Has anyone heard from Carly in the last week or two? I haven't really heard from her, and she's usually active on all my stuff. Danielle, I did decide to get my grandsons. I decided not to get them all the same gift again. I decided not to. Thank you, Poppy. I'll look forward to seeing your comments and seeing you around. So I did get the older boys each a walkie-talkie, and I have them a variety of other stuff here. I was saying earlier, they're going to be staying in an Airbnb here in town for about 12 days over Christmas. So although we're going to do a lot of activities together and be together a lot, when they're at the Airbnb, they're going to need some things to do. So they'll have their walkie-talkies. I've gotten them some Play-Doh and some Christmas cookie cutters, some coloring books and some crayons, some little figurines. What else did I get them? I got the 9-year-old a little magnetic chess and checkers game. He really likes chess and checkers. So this will be something that, you know, we can all do, or he can even do it by himself at the Airbnb. And then for the younger two of those brothers, I got them a little transformer. They are really into transformers. These ones don't actually do anything. They're just little die-cast metal. But fun for the grand. I'm trying to think of stuff that's fun. This is the first time they've ever stayed in an Airbnb here in town. But, you know, I don't really have space for all of them. When my daughter only has the baby and she comes, they stay here. Or they stay at my mom's. My mom has an extra, just small twin-size bed. But my mom's house is as small as mine. And my son doesn't have room at his house. It's hard for us to even have a family meal somewhere. We just don't all fit in one place anymore. For the girls, I have not bought Ava anything yet because I just sent Ava her birthday gifts. For her birthday, I got her a big bucket of slime that she wanted it's clear slime, kind of like the slime we played with at my house the other day that you saw on the video, I think. If you didn't, it'll be out this week. Yeah, I think it comes out this week. I got her a big bucket of clear slime, and it comes with all these different add-ins that you can add into it. She had a bucket of that here that she had been waiting for a long time to play with, and we finally got to, but she also wanted to have a bucket at home. So I got her one of those, and it is different. It has different stuff to add into it. And then also for her birthday, she wanted it's like a bracelet making kit, and it's a great big packet of all different kinds of beads and stuff that you string into bracelets. And it's, you know, one of the big like teenage type sets, not one of the little kitty ones that she's had before. So I don't know what I'm going to get her for her Christmas gift, I guess. She is having her birthday party today. I talked to her, I video chatted with her for a long time this morning as she was setting up her party. She's going to have a great time. She's going to send me some pictures. And I figure after her party, after she gets her birthday gifts, then I'll ask her kind of more what she wants for Christmas. For my younger two grandkids, my son's two kids, that are 2 and 3, the boy and the girl, Katie and JD, I bought them an indoor swing like Jackson's over here that has all of the attachments. It has the swing to it, it has the little rings that he has up here, and it has the ladder. It has all 3 pieces. They will share that. It's kind of a bigger, more expensive gift than I got my daughter's kids. So in my mind, I really was kind of unsure about that. I really try to keep things fair. I grew up in a family of 5 kids, and I'm not here to bash my parents in any way, shape, or form, but we were not treated fairly. It has always been my number one priority to treat every single one of my grandkids and every single one of my kids fairly. So I was a little bit unsure about buying them the big swing. But I talked to my daughter about it, and she thought it was a good idea to go ahead and get it for them because I've already bought her kids one of these. They've had it for many years, and they still use it. If anybody doesn't know, for the 3 boys that my daughter comes down here to visit because they were living in Dallas last year, now they're living in New Mexico this year. Her and her ex-husband have 50-50 custody. So she had the boys for 2 years, and now he has the boys for 2 years. And then starting this summer, she'll have the boys for 2 years again. It's a very, very weird custody arrangement, but it's because they live so far apart now. But so at her house, they have a whole setup of toys. They have their whole bedroom and everything at her house. So they have one of these swings. So it's only fair to get the other grandkids one of these. I have 8 grandkids. You only ever will see 7. My son and his girlfriend in high school, he got his girlfriend pregnant and she had a baby. I have not seen her in person since she was a month old. We do not get to be part of her life, but I always include her. I sometimes can see pictures of her on Facebook. I still send her a Christmas gift every year. I send her a birthday gift every year. We don't get to know her, but my hopes are that someday when she's older, she'll come find us. And if not, I still try my best to be, as active in her life as I can be, which is basically sending a gift, but it's something. EC, thank you for saying I'm a beautiful woman, and I don't have any haters. Thanks, but no thanks. See you later. Have I thought about getting one of those walking pads, like a treadmill? I have looked at those. I looked at them all last winter, and I've looked at them again recently, and I've also looked at a couple of gyms close by. I don't have the coordination to walk on a walking pad. Even if it had arm rails, I just don't have the coordination. I don't have a steady gait, and I veer to the left or veer to the right. I would step on the front of it. I would step off of it. It's part of the Chiari malformation and probably also part of the Ehlers-Danlos, but I just don't have I don't even know if it's the coordination or the gait to use one. A full-size treadmill would be easier for me, but I cannot find a gym that I can take Jackson to. He's not going to sit in a nursery. And most of the gyms won't let a child actually in the gym with you, not even to participate, but they won't even let them in the gym with you unless they're at least 14 here. So I've also thought about and looked at those the little bicycle pedals, because you can use your arms with them and you can also use your legs with them. But I haven't found one that has good enough reviews that I've purchased one yet. There's a lot of days. It's not a fun walk, but it gets the steps in and gets the job done. I walk around my kitchen and then around my big living room and my hallway, and I just walk laps. It's almost like a figure 8 by the time you get through the doorway. I do love my walks. I really, really do. But even if I had a gym membership, I don't think I would go as much or like it as much. I like to be outside. I don't even know how to explain myself. I don't know how I feel. I like to be outside, and I like to be away from the electronics and away from the overhead lights. Overhead lights really, really bother me. Aside from when I'm doing YouTube, I hardly turn any lights on. We turn this one on up here for YouTube and for crafting at the table. In my living room, I absolutely never turn on my overhead light. We have that one light that's behind the couch, and I turn it on because it's behind me. It's not in my eyes at all. So I do love walking very much, but I love it mostly because I'm out of here. Does that make sense? Because I'm not one to love going out in nature a whole lot. Like, I don't want to go to the lake every day, or I don't want to go to the pool every day. She could, Danielle, but she works. So she works really odd hours now too. She only works part-time, but she's gone from about 9:30 in the morning until about 2:30 in the afternoon. I have not gotten your postcard yet. I actually sent you an email earlier. I've checked the mail every day. I think mail is just really, really slow right now. Probably from the holidays, but I think mail is slow these days in general. It's always been snail mail, but now it's even slower than that. The other thing I like, Danielle, about walking outside is I walk fast enough that I really get my heart rate up, and I don't think I could do that on a treadmill. I also don't want other people in the gym looking at me. I'm telling you, I'm a 51-year-old version of Jackson. I don't like to be in public either. A week to get stuff there. It does. It takes a really, really long time here. Even, and it's not even because of the holidays. I would say the last maybe even 8 months, maybe even this whole entire year. You know, when you order from Amazon, you used to get things within 2 days. That was the whole reason people subscribed to Amazon Prime, was to get free shipping and get it here in 2 days. It takes us 3 or 4 weeks to get stuff sometimes now. Now, there are some things that come very quickly. There are some things that are here in 2 days. But if you order an order of 10 items, you might get 1 or 2 items, and the rest of them you're waiting weeks for sometimes. Danielle, that's another thing I've looked at. I told my husband he needs to make me a walking stick that has like, I don't know. I think even, we have a lot, here's what I'm trying to say. We have a lot of stray dogs in our neighborhood, a lot. I call animal control so much they probably get sick of me. But we have stray dogs everywhere, and they're not even actually stray dogs. They live around here, but people don't contain their dogs, and some of them are quite mean. I don't know that they would hurt me, but I'm certainly too scared to walk around the whole neighborhood. I told my husband he needs to make me a long stick with something on the end of it that I could defend myself with. I'm not a person to ever want to harm an animal in any way, shape, or form, but I would just want to keep a boundary for myself. They never arrived? That is weird, small town riot. You almost put Cheetos in the fridge? That might be a different flavor. Put them in the freezer. See how they taste like that. Danielle, I don't feel judged at all. I really don't. Oh, you mean like going in public? I just don't like people looking at me. And I don't think it has anything to do with my body size or any of that. Now, before I lost the 75 pounds, I'm still a really big girl. Obviously, you see me on video, and some clothes I look even bigger in, and some clothes I look smaller, but I'm still a big girl, and I still have this great big stomach that's not going anywhere, and this big old butt, Before I lost the weight, maybe I felt judged a little bit more because I just felt awkward. But I'm telling you, I could be a size 0 with a perfect body, and I still wouldn't like people looking at me. I 100% understand why Jackson doesn't like it. You were going to get water from the fridge and put Cheetos away and the brain wires crossed. I do that stuff all the time. Oh, by you giving walking suggestions? No, I don't. I don't get my feelings hurt easily. I don't feel judged. Like Poppy was afraid to ask a question, ask away, comment away. Because, you might hit on something that I haven't thought of. I am by nature a very analytical person, and I analyze everything. So I think that I've thought of all my options for things, but that doesn't mean that I actually have. I don't know. Maybe one of these days we will get a gym membership, but I also just think that I won't actually ever get in the car and drive to the gym and do anything. And like I said, at this point, there's not a gym around that I could take Jackson to. My friend goes to a gym that has a nice pool and stuff, but she lives on the absolute farthest point across town from me. It's the most expensive gym, but her membership is included with her apartment rental. And it is like the farthest point from here. It would probably take me 25 minutes to get there. And then even if we all swam together or something and then 25 minutes home, I know I'm not going to do that very often. Hey, Miss M, how are you? How was your week? Tell me something good that happened this week. When did I first realize Jackson had autism? I first realized that there was something different about Jackson from any other baby or child I had ever been around. Honest to God, the day he was born in the hospital. And the 2 night nurses that were there that night noticed it too. And the next day, the lady that came in, Danielle, I don't know if it's the same in New Zealand, but here in the United States, the day after your baby's born, they do a hearing test on them. It's like they just took this little headband thing over their ears and everything, and it's all like computerized, and it tests like their response to different sound waves and stuff. The lady that came in and did his testing knew immediately that there was something different about him. It was very obvious there was something different about Jackson from the very first hour he was born. Meaning most newborns like melt into you. They just snuggle into you and melt into you like butter, and you could just hold them and soothe them and, just have them there. They'll sleep on you or they'll just lay on you. Number 1, there was no laying still for Jackson. Number 2, he hated to be held facing or snuggled or like that. From the day he was born, he could hold his head up, and he would just sit up and just look around and look around and look around. There was no relax to him. There was no ability to relax. He would not sleep. Even as a newborn, he would not sleep. Danielle, I do walk around my yard. I do. And like I said, I walk around the house, just inside the house, just round and round and round. You bought your first Christmas gifts for 2 of your friends. Yay! Do any of your other children have anything like you or Jackson? I don't really speak for my older children because they're adults and their life is their life. My lips are sealed. My lips are sealed. Do they both have struggles? Yes. My son had a lot of struggles. And his children have some struggles, but it's not my place to say anything that they don't want to acknowledge or see or hear about yet. Maybe someday. And actually, did I ever give you guys an update on Jackson's neurologist? I've said before, his neurologist literally was a lifesaver to us. No, both of my boys are my husband's. I have been with my husband since my daughter was about to turn 3. He was actually there at her 3rd birthday party as a friend. I mean, we weren't like dating or anything. Both of my boys are mine and my husband's. What was I going to say? Oh, the neurologist. Okay, let me get my timeline straight. 2.5 or 3 years. Jackson was diagnosed autistic right before he turned 4. So he was 3, but it was like right before he turned 4. So from about the time, I guess he had to have been 3, like newly 3. He had the same pediatrician his entire life. And I liked her in some ways, but I didn't like her in other ways because she was very dismissive. Now, she was very good for the fact that she knew I had already raised 2 kids. I had already raised my nephew for several years. I had been a substitute teacher. I had been, worked in a church nursery for years. I have been around kids my whole life. I was the oldest girl out of a family of 5 kids. She trusted that if I thought something was wrong, that something was wrong. For things like, if I could tell that Jackson was getting sick, even if she couldn't see it, she's like, okay, just different things like that. When he would cry and cry and cry and cry as a newborn, and there was no way to get him to stop crying. she, you know, took me seriously and sent us to be tested for reflux and all of those things. But her, I would go in there, and I'm not even kidding. A lot of it was the pregnancy hormones. A lot of it was being tired because he would never sleep. I went in there crying over and over and over, and I'm just like, there is something different. There's something different. And I would tell her constantly, there is something different. And she would, you know what she would always tell me, because he spoke really, really early. And he was very smart. Like by the time he was 2, he knew his alphabet, he knew his numbers, he was beginning to read. He would point to all these pictures in these books. He had those books of 100 words, of 100 animals, or 100 foods, or 100, and he would point at the pictures and label all of them. And she would always tell me, he's just so smart. He's so smart that it's causing these other issues. She would say, put him in gymnastics. Put him in a class, put him in, and I would just cry. I would say, he's been kicked out of the library toddler time. We've been asked not to come back. We've tried gymnastics. He has been asked not to come back. We have tried all the things. We tried the mom's club. We tried all of it. It didn't work. I had to stop babysitting because he could not understand that he was hurting the other child. And now, was he purposely hurting? No. He could not understand that these kids weren't having fun, and he was in their space, and he was tackling them, and he was poking on their eyes, and he was rolling all around the floor with them and laughing, thinking everyone was having fun, and they weren't having fun. And there was no redirecting him and no stopping him. He was just go, spin and spin and spin and spin, and just move and move and move, climb up on the refrigerator and jump down, climb up on the cabinets and jump down, all day long, every day, and no sleep. So this neurologist, we got sent to her because he kept complaining of headaches, and we didn't know because he would repeat everything that he had heard. Well, I have Chiari. I have a lot of headaches. We did not know, is he repeating this or copying me, or is he actually having headaches? But because of my history with Chiari, we were sent to a neurologist to see one way or the other. The very first time this neurologist spent about 20 minutes with him in her office, she said, this is not ADHD. This is not a child that's just too smart for his own good. This is sensory processing disorder. All of this moving, he was literally climbing up on her exam table and jumping onto the chair. And I tried my very best to stop him, and she tried her very best to redirect him. There was no stopping him. She said, this is sensory processing disorder. He has hypermobility just like you do, which is the Ehlers-Danlos. And she explained how Ehlers-Danlos, she explained how it can cause hypermobility because your joints are where your sensors, your sensory are. Your joints are where your sensors are. Well, he was needing more and more and more input because his joints are so loose. His sensors aren't reading the input and sending that to his brain correctly. She said, this is sensory processing disorder. And she said, I'm telling you right here and right now that you're going to want to get him tested for autism. She said, it doesn't have to be today, doesn't have to be this week, and it doesn't even have to be this year. But at some point, you're going to want to have Jackson tested for autism. I was blown away. I had no idea. Like, me and my husband thought he probably just had really bad ADHD. And, you know, his doctor said possibly ADHD, but she didn't think so. So this neurologist literally understood my child the very first time she met him. Yes, she's still moving away. We have seen her one time since the time she told us she was moving. We will see her one more time in December, which is actually her very last day in office. She is going to see him from Florida. We will have to go there once a year, but then she will do telehealth the rest of the year. And for his prescriptions that she does for him, she has called them in with 1 year's worth of a refill, which is a godsend. So we don't have to try to panic or rush, and she doesn't have to be rushed to get everything set up at her new location, and we don't have to be rushed to try to get in to see her or anything like that. We can take our time and kind of get established and figure all of that out. So I'm so grateful. It's going to be a big hardship for us to go to Florida once a year. You know, we've always taken Jackson on one big trip every year for his birthday. And then we've also taken a couple of other little, like 1 or 2 day trips, you know, because we like to expose him to the history that he loves and to these things. But now the money that would go for those things for fun are now going to go to see a doctor in Florida, which, you know, the first time or two we'll make a vacation of that. But then it might be a hardship after that. But she doesn't know 100% she'll stay in Florida either. So Maybe she won't like it and she'll come back to Texas. Who knows? Does Jackson only have speech difficulties, ARFID, and autism, or other things? Well, he has the hypermobility. Miss M, you were tested for autism. You just have ADHD. There are so many overlapping effects or traits, you know. Jackson has some other like small diagnosis for like learning and things like that. He has like a deficit in, they call it short-term working memory. Like even though his memory is amazing, that's what makes math on paper hard for him. And that's what makes anything that has 2 or 3 or 4 steps harder for him. Your short-term working memory is if you have a math problem that has 2 or 3 steps, you have to remember what you need to do first, second, and third. And while you're remembering those, you have to remember the answer to the first part. And while you're remembering the answer to the first part, you have to remember the 3 steps and what you need to do next. There's so much with your short-term working memory that it does cause a lot of hardship in everyday life. I did not homeschool my older children. I wish I had homeschooled my son, my older son. My daughter loved school, and she was in every sport and every club and every activity. She kept us busy, and I loved it. She was in, through the years, she's done soccer, she's done t-ball, she's done basketball, she's done volleyball. She did the drama club. She was in the band. She was in the choir. She was in track. Anything else there was, she was in it. She was in all the things. She was a very active person. It's funny because she's my kid that's always required the most sleep. And even as an adult, she requires more sleep than most adults. But she's also been the most outgoing and active. She's very social. Math is hard. Math is very hard. The hard thing for Jackson is he can do math in his head without thinking about it. But when you have to actually look at a problem or see a problem and actually think about it, it's kind of like his brain freezes up and he can't think about how to do it. But if we were in everyday life and we went and did an activity that required this thinking, he would know the answer. So that's why we do a lot of our math learning just in everyday life skills. Measuring, he knows what half a cup is, but every time he goes to measure his milk for his muffins, he misses the half cup. Part of it is the fine motor control or lack of, but part of it's that short-term working memory. He can either think about pouring the milk or he can think about where the half cup line is, but it's real hard for him to keep both of those in his mind at the same time. So we work on a lot of things like that. That makes sense, Cammie. School environment was hard, but home life was even harder in some ways. I tell you, it was such a blessing that I went to such a small school, a huge blessing. And even my older son went to a small school. In his kindergarten class, there was 6 kids, so he got a lot of one-on-one help. And he actually went to pre-K for 3 years because he started right when he turned 3 because he was still nonverbal. So he went to pre-K for 3 years. He went to the 4-year-old class when he was 3 and 4. And then he went to the 4-year-old class the year he turned 5. And then he went to kindergarten the year he turned 6 and still had a lot of one-on-one help there. And then in second and third, I can't ever remember if we moved him schools when he was in 3rd or 4th grade, but he went from that small of a school to the one in our town that was still a small school, but a little bit bigger. You went to a private Christian school type homeschool. I went part of my younger elementary to a private Christian school too. It was so small. We had 3 grades in the same classroom. We had one teacher and she had this grade on this side of the room and this grade in the middle and this grade in the middle. I think it was 2nd, 3rd, and 4th if I remember right. And I was in there for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with the same teacher. When I was in 4th grade, there was only me and one other boy in the class. So I think that was my saving grace, was being at such a small school where everybody knew everybody. And everybody's needs were kind of tailor-made to them because the teacher had that ability. There also wasn't the state standardized tests and all of that stuff. I mean, there was when we were older, but it wasn't like they are now. Small schools were nice. And I struggle to navigate the social life of a small school. I can't even imagine in a bigger school. I guess in some ways you can kind of hide and be unseen more, but in other ways I'm sure the bullying and the not fitting in is even worse. You had one-on-one help with math. That's really good. When I was in junior high and high school, we had one certain period of the day that you could go to any class that you needed extra help in and get help. And I thought that was amazing because it wasn't just for one class. It wasn't just for certain kids. It was for anybody. And I never came home with homework because whatever class I had homework in, that's the class I would go to during that. I think we called it tutorials. I think the whole period name was tutorials. But you went into wherever you needed help. And like I've said before, I completely cheated my way through algebra. So that tutorial period was spent copying my best friend's math paper. You know, we do what we have to do. And it's a good thing that I don't use algebra in my life. Has anyone in the family not accepted the autism and neurodivergence? Your father never accepted you were neurodivergent and he always blamed me. Cami, I would go out on a limb to say that your father was probably autistic and probably saw a lot of himself in you, and probably even a lot of himself that he was probably punished a lot for or hated about himself. And so he hated that in you. And I would like to say, and I don't know your situation, and I could be completely wrong, and I hope this isn't insensitive, but I really feel like he didn't hate you. He hated those parts of you that he hated about himself. That would be my guess. As for my own family, I'm not super close to a lot of my family. I'm just not. A lot of my family, I've never said, hey, I got an autism assessment and I for sure am autistic, you know. We've never even had that conversation. And I could name you multiple family members in my family that are definitely autistic. But would I ever go up to them and say, guess what? I'm autistic and Jackson's autistic and we have other autistics in our family. And guess what? I think you fit in that category. Because no, they wouldn't want to hear it. They wouldn't accept it and they wouldn't want to hear it. And my dad is, I guess, my dad loves Jackson, but does he understand him? No. Every time he talks to me, he's like, well, is he eating any better? Or does he go to therapies for that? Is he getting any kind of help for that? And I'm like, dude, if you only knew the amount of money we pay for therapies, if you only knew the amount of time and effort he puts into this, you know? So is he real accepting of it? Yes and no, because he does accept Jackson for who and how he is, but he also wants him to fit enough of a mold to be self-reliable in his adult years. I don't know. He wants the best for Jackson, but does he completely understand that these things may not ever change? Probably not. Yeah, it's definitely hereditary in many families. There are some families that only have one child that's autistic, but to me, generally, those are the children that are more like profoundly autistic. And we've talked about this before. Some of them legitimately are harmed from vaccines, and some of them, just something in utero happened, or, I don't know. But I really honestly believe that I hate levels, but level 1 or level 2, most of it is hereditary. They don't have all the known genetic links to it yet. Jackson's neurologist is also sending him for some different genetic testing if our insurance will cover it. We have had genetic testing done on him several years ago. We've actually had two kinds. We had the kind that shows which medication his body can handle best and which ones to avoid, because he's extremely sensitive to medications. Very, very sensitive, even to over-the-counter type of medications or natural supplements and things. And we've also had like a mild genetic testing done that we paid out of pocket for, and it didn't come back with anything. But his neurologist was telling me that she went to a conference. I love that she goes to all these conferences. Her specialty, her passion is things like Chiari, autism, Ehlers-Danlos, and epilepsy, and the way all of these kind of go hand in hand and can be seen together. So she is continuously going to workshops on them. So she said that there is a new protocol, I guess you would say, and I won't get into any government stuff here, but there's a new protocol that they're coming out with now that they do want better genetic testing done on kids with autism, and especially kids that have autism with overlapping comorbidities. Is that what you call them? So she thinks that insurance will cover this, and she wants to see it mainly for her own personal knowledge, but she also wants to see if it will show anything or if it won't. But she's told us before that, you know, you could have genetic testing done every 2 or 3 years, and they're going to have massive more things to look at and more knowledge of things to link autism to than they do now. Because, you know, she said month by month and year by year, genetics are not changing, but they're just finding out so much more, and the research is so much better just year by year by year. There are several family members on my side of the family that have told me that they're pretty sure they're autistic, or one family member says that she knows she is, and several of her kids think they are, and a couple of her grandkids think they are. So they haven't ever been tested, but I mean, it's in the family, it's here. Well, this has been a really nice chat, but Jackson's friend is texting, and Jackson is messaging me, and the mom is messaging me. So let me get off of here and let them do their thing. This is supposed to be their day, and I'm taking up their time. But it was really good to chat with everyone. I always enjoy our chat time. It has been really fun. Y'all keep watching my videos. Leave me a comment when you watch them. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you want to see. Maybe we'll do a Q&A. Leave me anything you want me to answer. That way. I love the chats too. We'll try to do it again. We'll do it again during the week. Bye guys. See you next time. Thanks for joining us.